That was creepy. It was like classic creepy, and then it got like gory creepy.
Let's do it!
Ugh!
Hello. Welcome back to Ha Ha Oh No.
Hello.
Been preparing that all week. Rhyming scheme.
Is this the intro you have?
Well, no. This is the intro. I actually had an intro for today. So I was thinking today, out of the Ha Ha and the Oh No, which one of the two of us?
Well, I just laughed there, so I guess I claim that.
Yeah, I think I'm the Oh No. Because you're much...
What about if someone's the hat and the no, the person's hat and the O? What if we split it that way?
You're such an egalitarian.
There we go. That's a fair way to split it. We'll both take one part each.
How good is he?
Yeah.
There you go.
They probably want to hear a scary story.
That was a much better... Sorry, that was a much better answer than I ever expected. Anyway, on with today's story. Welcome back. If you don't know the format, I'm Jack. This is Danny. We have a little chat show. It's not a chat show. It's a horror show.
Horror show, yeah. We're doing scary stories every week. This week is Jack.
Yes.
We're still going to be planning a live stream soon.
Yes.
But, yeah, stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, business as usual. Jack's about to read a scary story. As usual, if this is your first time here, we like to build a lot of hype around the title. So Jack's going to give the title now. I'm going to react. Hopefully you guys will react to the title too. And then we'll get straight into the story.
We will. So, the title for this week's story is Ancestry.
.com.
No!
You knew I was going to say that.
I knew you were going to say.
For some people, tracing the lineage of your family tree is a stone that they'd rather leave unturned. For others, diving through ancient censuses and church burial records is a fond hobby that fills the dull spaces in between days, peeling back through the layers of history like one might flip through a magazine. For Amanda, though, it had become a complete and utter obsession. It had consumed her life, and in it, she had room for nothing but the past. You see, Amanda had grown up as an orphan. As a child, she was passed from pillar to post, growing up in one foster home from another, state-funded orphanages, privately owned charity organisations. She'd seen a lot. It hadn't been a sad upbringing by any means. In fact, she looked back fondly at the kind faces that formed her childhood. Old couples, usually, who hadn't ever had children of their own, but instead filled their homes with the lost souls that needed one. Once Amanda had turned 18 though, and she was no longer a ward of the state, she said her goodbyes to the system that had raised her and walked back into the world in the exact same manner that she had entered it, alone. In fact, that was just the way that Amanda had always wanted things. She never had any drive to become a doctor or a lawyer or a research scientist. She turned her nose up at the prospect of spending a life dedicated to a cause that advanced society and found it much easier to stick firmly to the fringes, sustaining herself by her own means. You see, despite all of her misfortune, the day that Amanda had turned 18, she was approached by a lawyer, a man named Alfred Turnbridge. He had a kind face, she remembered that the most, a face that seemed much younger than it appeared, despite the fact that he was, at the very least, in his early 80s. The day that Amanda had left her final foster home, Alfred Turnbridge handed over the deeds to a financial portfolio. Bonds upon bonds, stocks and shares in age-old oil and energy companies, ownership of property in pretty much every state across America. In total, the value of Amanda's wealth in the world had gone from pretty much zero to just under $2 billion in a single birthday. Alfred didn't say much when he was signing over the papers. He was sweating profusely, in fact, and had a particularly hard time making eye contact with Amanda. But after he'd finished scrawling his last signature, he looked up and said, "Congratulations, Amanda. You'll never have to work a day in your life." He handed her the papers, and with that, it was all hers. For several days afterwards, Amanda didn't have the strength to look through the ream of documents that had been handed over with her inheritance. In fact, she'd reluctantly utilised her newfound wealth and rented a relatively well-priced hotel room on the east side of Manhattan to be alone. There, she spent most of her day alone in the dark. But on the fourth day, Amanda finally flipped open the papers, and on the second page, she read the title, The Last Will and Testament of Beatrice P. Good. And that's when it started. Finally, she had a name, and a history soon followed. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Amanda stayed in her hotel room, but day by day she slowly built up small fragments of this woman's life. A bank statement here, a voting record there. She was an enigma, to say the least. But by the end of the month, Amanda had completely covered the floor of her hotel room with scraps of public records and private ownership bills. All of them only offered more questions than answers, but it gave her a sense of purpose that she'd never once felt in her 18 years on this earth. There was one thing that Amanda could ascertain for certain though. Despite her hoping, there was no chance in hell that Beatrice P. Good could have ever been her mother, or even her grandmother for that matter. Maybe a distant seventh cousin, but that was pushing it. You see, despite all of her digging, she had known the answer to this particular question the moment that she flipped over the final page of her last will and testament. Beatrice P. Good had died in 1946 at the ripe old age of 103. At her estate in the small rural town of Mays Hollow, Virginia. Before Amanda had even been born, Beatrice had already been long dead for over 45 years, and she herself had been born way back in 1843. It seemed so ancient, so foreign. As the days went on, the more she looked at the string of dates and the immense passage of time, Amanda felt a slight sick twinge in her stomach that grew and grew. It was perverse almost. What had she ever done in her life to warrant the favour of this woman? What strange, bizarre link in the chains of time connected the two of them? The sickness quickly grew only worse. Amanda needed answers, and before she knew it, she'd taken several of her bond sheets down to the bank on 42nd Street, withdrew on them and opened a small private bank account and booked an economy ticket on a plane out to Virginia. She needed answers. The final residence of Beatrice P. Good had been notarized as a place named Diana's Orchard, and for some reason, Amanda felt herself mouthing the words over and over the entire journey there. They seemed oddly familiar in her mouth. In fact, once she'd landed at Richmond Airport and hailed a taxi cab to take her the several-hour journey to Mays Hollow, more and more oddly familiar notions seemed to pass Amanda by. For one, she'd never once been to Virginia in her life. She'd rarely even left Manhattan, never mind the state of New York. Yet the endless sprawl of trees that littered the landscape were like staring at an old memory. The very air of rural Virginia seemed to be like breathing in the scent of a loved one, and that feeling only became stronger and stronger the closer she came to Diana's Orchard. As the taxi passed through the gates into a driveway bordered by the tallest, most endless sea of pines that you've ever seen, Amanda felt a cold chill run up her spine. She wasn't nervous or apprehensive even. In fact, it almost felt like a quiet excitement deep down within her that had slowly been coiling itself around the pit of her stomach ever since she had gotten off the plane. It was almost as if the estate itself was some kind of old friend. And when she stepped out of the taxi cab, that's exactly how it greeted her. Although the front walls, the 4 stories and the heavy-set wooden door loomed expectantly in the calm Virginia twilight, it almost felt comfortable to Amanda. And then the door creaked open. And in the threshold of Diana's Orchard stood an oddly familiar face. It was Alfred Turnbridge, the lawyer that had approached her on her 18th birthday several months prior. He smiled at her, and through the taxicab window, Amanda felt a strange grin spread across her face. She quickly paid the driver, opened the door, and in an instant she was ascending the steps of Diana's Orchard, past the stonework walls and the arcane sculptures that lined the entryway. Alfred took her bags and turned to motion her inside, and yet he paused for a moment. He stared at her, halfway on, as if he was waiting for some sort of sign or recognition. The same familiar grimace reassembled itself upon his face, and he winced. "I hope everything is in order, Your Grace," said Alfred Turnbridge. Amanda looked at him, puzzled. She went to speak, but couldn't quite find the words to. Instead, she found her gaze darting between Alfred and the strange stone carvings that lined the walls. They were beautiful. You see, you couldn't quite call this place a house. That just wouldn't do it justice, or even a manor. It was as if an entire monument had been built out here in the pines, and Amanda stood awestruck at the scale and ancient beauty of Diana's orchard. "Ah, my mistake," said Alfred, breaking the silence. "Perhaps a quick stroll to the crypt will better explain this." Amanda turned to reply to him, her gaze siphoned back to his, but when she motioned to open her mouth, only silence passed her lips. Shadows of words that she thought she ought to say but couldn't, and before she knew it, she was pacing behind Alfred as the two of them stepped inside, past grand staircases of pure ash and yew, wooden monuments to things that once lingered, a natural order, a mosaic of the strange places that lie between life and death. It was as if nature herself had assembled the furniture, impossibly old yet vibrant and fervent, full of strength and vigour. The large corridors quickly became small stone walkways, and as the pair descended into the steps of Diana's orchard, the peaty stench of earth and dirt wafted through the air like the fumes from a smokehouse. Amanda couldn't quite figure how far beneath the ground they had travelled, but suddenly the small stone walkway opened out into an impossibly long corridor. Shadows skittered from ancient lanterns, and in neat rows 10 paces or so either side were strange, ornate stone sculptures. All of them women. As Alfred led her deeper into the crypt, the carvings of their garments gradually became more and more familiar, slowly flitting from long sweeping furs to decadent flowing robes and dresses, their faces powerful and stern and contemplative of things greater than Amanda could ever imagine. And finally, Alfred stopped. It was strange, as though the corridor seemed to go on and on. The lanterns just stopped here. Before them lay a massive stone slab and an intricately carved wooden coffin. Alfred turned and smiled. "We didn't think it proper to commission a carving yet, Your Grace, given the circumstances and all." Amanda gazed at him, perplexed, yet she found herself slowly nodding. She felt sad almost, as if something had been lost that she couldn't quite place. "Shall we?" said Alfred, as he reached for the clasp of the coffin, and before she knew it was open. The stench of death and decay filled the corridor, yet oddly enough, Amanda found herself smiling. She couldn't stop staring at the corpse before her, an ancient, impossibly old woman, the remnants of her skin turned to tufts of leather that clung between the gaps of her bones. She was in a dress, her favourite dress, thought Amanda, black with a high woven lace collar. It had fallen to threads, as all things do, given enough time. She couldn't help herself, but Amanda slowly moved toward her, reaching her hand toward her face, and when her skin brushed past her rotting flesh, the corpse's mouth fell open. An unholy sound filled the room, like an ancient wind rushing once more across the highest peak. A death rattle that cracked and peaked like the tongues of a forgotten empire. Amanda opened her mouth, pausing in curiosity at the oddly familiar vibration. It brushed past her lips, travelled deep down within her throat, filled her lungs, and then, as if everything made sense, once more she took her first breath. It tasted different, almost, like earth and dirt, the peat bogs of a far forgotten land. A smile curled across her lips. "Ah," she said, "I remember now."
I wish you didn't.
You always make me laugh whenever you say that.
was creepy. It was like classic creepy, and then it got like gory creepy. Like, I had two different reactions. I had that sort of like suspenseful creepy, and then when it got to the body, it was like it just shifted genre.
Yeah.
And like, I hate anything to do with that. I hate anything to do with like bodies or death.
Well, that's why it's in there.
Yeah, I know. I know your weakness. It's just, yeah. But brilliant. But like, also like, not scary as in there's like a threat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
thinking, I felt that
up until
writing it.
Up until literally the very end, I thought she's in danger somehow. Like I got what you were connecting them all and the statues and the, I was starting to piece it together, but I still thought this is a trap. So she's going to be sacrificed. I thought she was like in real danger, but like the payoff was great. Like, that's still it's still creepy. She wasn't in danger, but now she's the creepy one. Yeah. She's embodied kind of it's a bit like what I loved about The Soil as well, about you becoming the creepy thing. It's like look, yeah,
I've been thinking a lot about reincarnation lately and stuff like that, and I just don't know, I was pondering through my daydreams and stuff. I was just like, imagine if you discovered your reincarnated self. Imagine if you were like going through your family tree and stuff and like really digging deep and stuff. Yeah. And then you just found a person that was like you, and you knew it was you, and it was just that notion that kind of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I hopefully we can get Cassie to throw this up now on the screen. But when I found that guy who looked exactly like me.
Oh my god!
I thought that.
You've been reincarnated like 4 or 5 times, dude.
Yeah.
You're on some Cloud Atlas level.
That one guy, I looked at, and I started doing that. I started looking up his Wikipedia page. I was reading about his life.
Yeah.
I had this weird sort of connection, just because someone said, I don't know, someone commented on my Instagram and said, oh, we were studying this guy, Emile, something French chemist in the 19th century, but I started reading his whole life just because he looked like me, and it's that weird sort of like, oh, is this?
It's a weird notion, isn't it?
It is. And when they say that everyone has got identical, not even twins, but like you've got people who look just like you throughout history.
Yeah.
Like there's only so many faces.
I don't think I've ever found me, like ancient me.
But you wouldn't really.
He's out there, isn't he?
Statistically, yeah. Or you might be the ancient one. Think of it that way. What if you're the one they're going to look at? They'll be looking at this video maybe in like a few centuries, but what? And they're all freaking out.
They just didn't have enough photographic evidence of probably some like farmer in the field. Oh, there's Jack.
Yeah, maybe. Just didn't take a picture of him.
Could be on.
Yeah.
Didn't have the time he was farming. Bless him. Praising my unknown ancestor. As we all should.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one.
Taking a quick dive over to like the storytelling aspect of it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought there were 3 distinct phases there. The before, during, the before, the finding out, then the sort of inheritance, and then that whole section at the end. They almost felt like 3 entirely different stories. And I really liked some of the little flourishes you did. Like, you didn't have to go on about how much money she had, because there was those little things like just renting, just buying an apartment in Manhattan, or getting a several-hour taxi ride, stuff like that. That was really good. And then when she entered the house, that was possibly your best description I've ever heard you do.
Wow.
That was what I was. That's what I was trying to do when I did Ice Cream, and when they went into the.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
No, but like I was like, look, I could see, and it was that I could see this sort of decadent old house, and I think I said, everything was wood.
No, you didn't.
It was. If you go back and look at it, it was like, all of it was wood.
You didn't. I promise you.
I almost sorry to give you too much work here, Cassie, but like get that bit up, because it's only about 10 seconds, and that was me trying to paint this. And I had like old animal heads on the wall, and it was like antlers. I just said there was wood, and then they walked, and it was dark. Every surface was wood, a timeless look, amplified by the lack of any real surroundings. Except for dim lights, the place looked like it had avoided the last century. It was brilliant. And it also like picked up the pacing of it because it just started like tripping off the tongue. Brilliant, yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, really good.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
I will say one thing, and there are a few things in there that maybe viewers can look back on and see if they pick up. I don't know. There are a few things in there.
Are you going to tell me?
Well, no.
Are you going to tell me after?
No, because I feel like...
Okay.
I'm just planting a few seeds, that's all.
Are you setting up... You're setting up like a MCU, aren't you? Here? You are. The JCU.
What's the C? Cinematic. Oh, yeah, of course. The Jack Cinematic.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, then... Okay. Damn, I'm sorry I missed that.
They're very, very small, so...
Okay.
And you may have to go back even further, guys, and have a look at some of the other ones.
What? I'm on this channel too. I'm literally here, like so involved with all of this, and it's going over my head completely.
Did we spoke about this? The final episode of No.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a Ragnarok, and all your characters fight my characters.
I'm already thinking we're gonna win. Oh, actually,
you've actually got quite a few on your side.
If you tune in for the next episode. This is Jack's episode though. Just saying, we're leaving it out.
Okay.
We're leaving it out.
Let's fight into it.
But
why are we fighting?
No, that's gonna happen then.
In all likelihood, they'd all probably come together and like turn into it. Some kind of mastermind.
But I think we would do the twist of all twists. It would like, and it's gonna be on them or something. You know what I mean?
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Oh, I've already got ideas, but I don't want to say it in front of them.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's gonna blow your mind. Yeah. All right, I'll give you a score for that.
Score on the door. Wow.
And I think that
Cassie.
you've definitely broke a threshold there for me, and I give that an 8.1.
What?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
You can't. Right.
Come on.
We're gonna have a compilation of you saying nah to like every score I give. What's wrong?
I mean, I wouldn't have graded that an 8.1, but thank you so much. I didn't writing that and finishing it. I was very happy with it, but I didn't think it. But yeah, I'll take it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but you know my criteria. I think I've been very fair, laid out exactly what I like. I also give a lot to how you tell the story.
Yeah.
And
Well, I've learnt a lot of that from you too. I did my first.
Did your first stream?
I was kind of nervous. I was kind of nervous doing it for me.
We should.
Maybe detracted from
I've
before.
got a good feeling. We don't know this yet, but I've got a good feeling that might be the intro. It's just your face because you look scared. You did too. You look scared that you knew there was a second one coming. You looked at me like, you're like, I'm going back in. You're like, it's coming again.
I was gonna leave it with just one and be like, no,
it was.
It scared me. One's enough.
What was she saying? What's she saying?
I don't know, mate. She's speaking ancient tongue.
How far back does it go, or is that just sort of you don't know? Okay, it could be like some sort of real ancient stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Old. Well, there were ladies dressed in like furs in some of the first statues.
Right. Okay. Furs, like.
Yeah, some of the stone carvings were like
Neolithic.
maybe.
Don't do that. You know. Trying to like milk your own story.
Well,
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But yeah, that was.
Thank you, mate. That is
Definitely an over an 8. Yeah.
so much.
And I think if you were fair to yourself and you went back and looked at, we both went back and looked at some of the first couple of stories.
Yeah, for sure.
We're
both growing. We're growing with you.
Exactly.
As our audience goes. And also, talking about audience growing, thank you so much, guys. Like, we check all of the figures every single day, and we kind of like text each other back and forth like, oh my god, what's happening? It's going crazy. Like, the amount of subscribers that we've gained and views, and it just honestly means the world to us. It really does.
And that's a good transition to an announcement. And if all things go well, then this is actually going to be up on, you're watching us on a Thursday. You might be wondering why this is on a Thursday.
Oh yeah, it's a Thursday.
Right? And that's because from this week onwards, we're going to be doing 2 videos a week.
So the next one is Sunday.
The next one is on Sunday. So every week, it's not going to be Friday anymore. We're going to do Thursday and Sunday. Double the no. So we've got a lot of filming to do, a lot more work to do. Yeah. But we just feel like it's right that the channel's picking up. We're getting so many great comments from you guys. It just seems like let's do it. Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
I don't know why I did that, sorry. That's really out of character with me.
Don't apologise, just own it.
Sorry. Let's do it!
See, I didn't apologise, so it's fine.
Alright.
People are probably tuning out now. Yeah, let's
The last straw.
yeah, let's call it. Let's call it.
If you have any stories that you'd like to send to us, please send them to this email right here, hownostories@gmail.com. We read through every story that you send. We try and reply to them, and we will read them out on our next live stream. Things are a little bit hectic at the minute, but as soon as we have a live stream, you guys will know it will be on our channel now because we got.
We've got enough. We've got enough subscribers now.
We're good.
Yeah.
So you'll know the notification bell will ping up. We'll try and surprise you or try and keep you in touch. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to How No.
Yeah, that's Jack Finch.
This is Danny Burke. It's always been a pleasure. Guess we better blow the fire out.
Yeah, as always.
We do this usually if you've only just tuned in. So shall I do that?
Yeah. You do that.
I don't want to do it again.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Hey.
Danny's speaking tongue.